all pay attention because you all get to do stuff, start working and all that other fun stuff. So right now we're gonna have a conversation with you because you all are going to school here, correct? Yes, yes, I can't hear y'all. Don't let the mess you up. All right, you should have extra things. Like energy there. What we're here to do today is talk with you all and your parents and anybody else that wants to let us know what's going on as far as the school district. Did you all hear that there's going to be a cell phone ban mandate?
Yeah.
Everybody? Okay. Good. Y'all want to snap. Good. I like that. But that's why we're here. Because we want to hear what you have to say about that. There are going to be some rules made. There are going to be some rules made about the cell phones and how they're used in school or not used in school. Well, we think it's important that you, the students, and you, the parents, know what's going on, at least have a say as far as what rules they're going to make, because they have to make those rules and everything by this summer, make everything ready to go for September. So we want to get some information from you to make sure they hear what you say, what works for you, what doesn't work, and maybe some ways to make those rules good for everybody, not just for some, but for everybody. But most of all, the people that run the district, the Board of Education, it's important. Our organization is called the Niagara Community Information Group. That's us. Whenever you see that emblem, that is us. We are a community organization that talks to people in the community. We are here, we listen to people in the community, and we help put our information out there to people that need to know. So that's why we're here. Niagara Community Information Group, we also call ourselves NCIG. But make sure anytime you have a question or need something that you think needs to be heard, we have a website. Put your little questions on there. We have a QR on the sign-in over there. Take a picture of it. QR is back there on the snack table. Take a picture of it. Anytime you want to sign in and see all the things we do a lot in the community. Niagara Falls, across the state, and other parts of the United States. So we want you to know we're here to do this. We're here to talk about why there's going to be this ban or mandate on cell phones. And it's not because people want to be mean, okay? It's not about being mean. It's because they found out that when students do a lot with their cell phones or whatever other device, they don't do as well in school. They're finding out a lot of students get anxious, get worried, they hype about it because they're on screen time. They're finding out a lot of students get depression because of all the stuff that's going on the streams. We're also finding out that the rate of suicide with students is going up because they just get so anxious. So they want to stop that. But they want to find out how do you do that without everybody saying, I'm not listening, I don't want to do that. We want to listen to the students. So I'm not going to do anything right now after this. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Barksdale. How many of you already? You already know Mr. Barksdale. Okay, good. Mr. Barksdale, he is also part of the Niagara Community Information Group. So he's going to talk to you. He's going to get the information. He's going to lead the discussion. So Mr. Barksdale, you can take it away. Yeah,
Good afternoon. I will first start by saying thank you to Bishop and Reverend Scott for opening up Word of Life Ministries to give us this opportunity to speak and listen to you. The most important part of today is to listen to what you guys have to say. As Dr. Tina said, that we're an advocacy group. We give voice to the voiceless. So you can speak to us, and then we go talk to the people that are in charge and tell them how you feel about things. Okay? So, like she mentioned, Governor Hochul, do you know who Governor Hochul is? She runs the state. She wants to put out a proposal where you cannot have your cell phones in your possession between the starting bell and the ending bell throughout the day. So, we got mixed feelings about that. So we want to go ahead and let you guys express how you feel. Some good things and not good things. about this opportunity, about what they're trying to do, okay? So everybody pull out your cell phone that have a cell phone. You know, I don't think that's the right name anymore. It used to be a cellular telephone where you used to carry a big bag, like this big, and you had this thing, you walk around, you make phone calls on it. And now what you have is a handheld computer that makes phone calls. And when on that computer, you can surf, you can look at different things, and you know, you have a lot of things going on. So, and they become more important, but like Dr. Tina said, they become sometimes a distraction, or we become dependent on them. You can't go too much time without picking up your phone. But again, these are some of the concerns that the adults have for children in the school. All right? So we're going to start out and ask a few questions. Questions. There's no right or wrong answers here. You won't get a grade after this. But we want to get, again, some things that make you start thinking about the cell phone use. All right. First question is, how does cell phone use in the school affect your relationship with your classmates or your friends and your teachers? Show of hands. Yes.
I think it helps because you have contact with like your friends.
Okay. All right. What about the teachers?
You could, like, if you need help with something, you can email them off your phone.
Oh, really? Okay. Anybody else? You think cell phones help you with your relationship, or does it hurt your relationship? Okay.
I have a question. Well, I have
Yes.
a statement. I think sometimes it can, like, maybe 10% of it can hinder the socialization that the kids like sometimes lack nowadays, like being able to hold like an actual sentence and communicate. So I feel like sometimes, like having your phone at your reach, maybe in class or in the cafeteria, like it can kind of hinder sometimes.
So they gave me another question that's not on my list. Do you find yourself, do you talk to people face to face more, or on the phone, communicate with the phone?
Face to face.
Face to face?
It's even out.
It's even?
It's even out.
Okay, all right. Because again, I don't know if y'all know, but I'm older than y'all. For real. But I have some friends that won't use the cell phone at all. They won't text. They say, I'll talk to you in person. Some of them have it just for, taking care of business. But that's good that there is a balance there. There's a balance. All right, good feedback. Next question is, have you ever felt pressure to respond to messages or social media during school? You gotta be honest. No? Yes? No? Let's do a show of hands. How many people feel like they have to, if they hear that ding or that vibrate, have to look at their phone?
If I have to look at it, I just don't have to respond.
Okay. All right. Can y'all keep a secret?
Yes.
I looked at my phone in church today.
Wow.
And why y'all judging me? So I understand what you guys go through. I'm one adult that will admit it. I understand that. But again, it's a distraction. It's a distraction. You're missing good teaching, both in church and in school. Okay? That's a question to you. How does it impact your focus? Does it distract you when you're in class, or can you keep up?
I can keep up. We put our phones in like a pocket. Yes.
Okay. How about you young ladies up front? Are you distracted with your phone when you're in class? Okay. So are you distracted? Okay, that's good. It goes back to my middle son. He used to be on his iPad, on the tablet in church. And I asked him, I said, no, you need to be paying attention. But he was playing on it and he was taking notes too. So some kids have the ability to, what we say, multitask. But doing this over a long time, you don't keep your attention long enough. When you get older, because y'all are going to get older, your memory isn't going to be as good as it is now. And it's going to impact your memory long term. Just some things to think about, okay? think cell phone use contributes to bullying or exclusion at school?
100%. People be talking behind people's backs.
Chris, speak up. Speak up, I like that.
People be talking behind people's back on the phone.
They do, you understand? Sure do.
On the phone?
Yeah, on the phone sometimes they say, but not in front of their faces, but on the phone.
What do you call it, cyber?
Maybe Googling behind you.
Yeah,
Okay, one at a time, hand raise, hand raise.
One.
I heard a lot of talking, let's make sure everybody can hear. You got some good points. Anybody else? So, is there a difference between the cyberbullying and bullying in person? Is there,
Yeah, there's
which one you see more of?
the
Cyberbullying.
What do you think that is?
I do.
Yes.
Because you can't really see the other person online, and plus some people bully online because they're anonymous. So they think they can just say whatever they want and do whatever they want. There's zero consequences. And also, it's I think they find it more convenient, easy to do than doing it in real life. Because they'll see bullying in real life, they'll I guess see it as bullying, but bullying online don't take it as serious.
Okay. So, how does it make you feel? Well, I don't know if you should ask that question. Have you ever been bullied, cyberbullied?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you report it? Did you tell an adult about it?
No.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. If you feel that, you can tell your parents. You can tell the adults here at church. Please let somebody know, because you don't want something to happen. You want to make sure people know about that so they can be aware and they can possibly do something about it. Okay? We definitely don't want that happening here. We love you. We care about you in school, out of school, and we just want to make sure that's not happening. Okay? And that's one of the reasons they're giving for not having cell phones in school is to cut down on that cyberbullying. Okay? Does cell phone use hurt or help students' ability to communicate face to face? You guys kind of touched on that, but yes.
It doesn't help at all because, when you talk online, anything on cyberbullying, it's way more convenient and easy to do.
Mhm.
And, actually going anywhere to talk to someone in real life. Also, most people feel more safe behind the screen than, actually confronting a person in real life.
Okay. Okay. So, anybody else? Anybody else thoughts on that? Do any of you have trouble? Okay, right here. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right, what keeps you from talking to someone face to face versus on the phone? Well, let me go back and say, what do you feel more comfortable doing, face to face or on the phone?
Face to face.
Okay. All right. So, we got the next section called academic impact. How do you personally use your cell phone for schoolwork?
I use the team.
Oh, raise your hand, raise your hand. Okay.
like Power School, and when we go on Power School, it says look at your missing work and see what you owe.
Okay. Anybody else? Hands? Use your cell phone for schoolwork? I heard that. Go ahead. All right.
That's cheap.
You just said you look up your hands.
Well, they put it out there. They said that's cheating. They say it's cheating. But it's depending on how you use it. Just like with the cell phone, the things you use on your phone can hurt or help. It's how you use it. So ChatGPT is good. If you're just using it to sometimes get a better understanding of something, yeah, study. It'll give you quicker information, access to information. Right, you gotta learn how to use it. And just with the cell phone, you gotta know what its purpose is. ChatGPT is to, again, help you to learn things that you didn't know. All right, anybody else? What else do you use your phone for schoolwork? I heard Power Schools, ChatGPT. Teams? Hold on, what, hands? Or we say Teams? You mean Microsoft Teams? Okay. All right. Microsoft Teams is it's a tool where you can communicate, you can do meetings through it, you can look at documents. It's initially like a business tool, online business tool. Yes?
Clever.
Clever?
Yeah, it's like a website where like you have all these different apps, not apps, but like other, I guess like extensions where you do your schooling.
Mm-hmm.
You can like it's a good way to get to brain pops, games, Yellow, a lot of other academic programs kind of.
Okay.
What's the name of that? Clever?
Clever.
I'll be using that.
Clever.
Spell that for me.
How you spell it?
CLEVER.
Have you ever used your phone? Well, comes up. Here's the next question. You jumped. Have you ever used your phone to cheat on an assignment, a homework assignment?
No. I'll look up answers.
That's shit.
Wait. Do we need to turn the cameras off where you tell the truth?
I used to.
Okay. So why or why not have you done that? Yes.
I don't have a phone, but I have used other devices, and they do it to understand the answer better or to help if I'm confused.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Or like sometimes when you got like homework that has like 16 answers and you gotta do it, right? It's like multi-step thing. Like when you like really understand it and like you know how to do it, you just don't feel like sitting there for 30 minutes solving every single question. Might as well just more efficient way.
Okay. Use that big word efficient. All right. Front table. Any comments? Just smiles. That's all. That's all. We get smiles. All right. Do you think students should be allowed to listen to music on their phones?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It helps me focus.
Yeah, we focus on
Okay. Ding, ding, ding.
They gonna learn.
You ask why or why not, but y'all agree.
They ban YouTube.
Yeah, they
Is that-
They banned YouTube from the computers. You can't use it. You can't use it.
Now I'm distracted.
You gotta go on stack.
All right, hands. Only got 2 years, and they work together. Yes.
Alright, so like music really helps you learn, like not learn, but like helps you study, focus, and like do your work, blocks out all the freaking noise and stuff. Also like yeah, it just like helps you get in the zone to like do your work, focus only on your work or listen to music. The music just helps you get a lot of stuff done.
Okay. It's not just about children, yes, sir.
So are you kids saying that while the teacher's not talking and giving you assignment, that's when you could put on the music and
Yes.
focus?
Yes.
Because it's not while she's talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to get that. Thank you.
All right, we can hear from the parents too, it's not, yes.
So I am in graduate school right now, and like I thrive off of having like a study music or like my gospel music going in the background. It does help me focus. Like it just sets the tone, and I feel like if I have to write out a thesis, like I need something. Like I can't just sit with just my thoughts. Like I need something to just release my anxiety, and sometimes that happens to be my background.
All right. Any other adults? Music while you're working? Yeah, well, you're a future adult, go ahead.
Alright.
What you said? You gotta speak up.
Speak up.
I use it to play video games.
You do or do not?
Do.
Okay, while you're working?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay. It's that multitasking thing. Okay, yes.
I use music all the time.
Okay.
When I sit in the front office, I put my phone on low setting, I turn on my jazz. I can't play gospel because it's a school, but
Okay.
I put on jazz music. I get most of my work done faster that way too.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of of pros look more good things with music playing than not, okay? Do cell phones distract students more than they help them academically, as far as your schoolwork? It does distract them? It does not?
Take a toll, take a toll,
Yeah.
take a toll. Good
So,
point, Dave.
does it distract you, your academics? So does it not distract you with your academics? Does it, yeah, the music, I'm sorry, does the no, does the cell phones distract you while you're doing your schoolwork?
Like,
No?
wait, are you talking about the music or like?
No, just using the cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, checking messages, emails and stuff outside school.
Well, most of the schools, I think what they want to say is, most of the time they don't have their phones when they're in school, like in my school. When they come in, they put their phone in a lockbox, okay? So the end of your period, you don't get your phone back.
Right.
When the class is over, then you get your phone back. So most of the time, they're not really have the opportunity to sit with the phone at hand in class. That's not really what's the problem. You know, what they're trying to explain.
Okay.
They use their phones like when they're at home or they're sitting like in a gathering together and they're working on their homework. Then that's when it comes more in hand. As for in school, they really don't have access, at least I know in charter does it.
Okay.
They're in a box
Right.
all day until after school.
Mhm.
Then they get it out the box, so they don't really say, oh, I can listen to the music unless they have the laptops in. Sometimes when they let them do different group things,
Mhm.
then they can listen on the headphones. But they did take YouTube off for a lot of the devices in school, so they can't listen to the music. And then they want to sneak and go get the phones and grab the phones. But most of the time during the day, a lot of the kids don't have their phones.
Right.
What school are you?
Niagara Charter,
And they keep them in the locker for the
they
day?
keep it in a lockbox. They leave a basket or a lockbox. The way whatever teacher wanna have it in her classroom.
Okay. Yes.
Really, in my school, if you get caught with your phone, you just get it taken and it gets put in the office at the end of the day.
And what school are you at?
Niagara Wheatfield.
Yeah. Speak up so everybody can hear you. No, would you just say it's important?
Oh, it wasn't, I was just
Eddie, Eddie, hear you. It's okay.
I was saying something, I really say it.
Okay. Anybody else? Hands? No hands?
I will right there with the black curve.
I didn't make
She made a real good point.
Did you?
See her?
What'd I say?
What did you say? I was
Whatever you said, encourage him.
Wait, what was even the question again?
You was talking about the usage of cell phones and how it distract you, and you said you don't really use your cell phone.
Oh, I don't really use my cell phone, but sometimes when we like have free periods in class, I do use it like to be on games and stuff, and then do low key kind of distract me. And then I don't get my work done, and then I be missing assignments. So it depends. It just depends.
So I guess I should have asked a question in the beginning. How many of you can use your cell phones in class? What schools do you go to? Oh, the prep school? Okay, so you can't use it. So,
You got all your work done, you got everything. You got work.
okay, so this brings up, you're going into the next question is, do you think you should be rewarded for proper cell phone use? Yes? Okay, well, what do you think that reward should be if you know how to use your cell phones responsibly?
More like free usage with your cell phone when you don't work. Cause like, if you can prove that you can use your cell phone in a productive way, then I think they should like, give you a bit more trust to use your cell phone, like when you don't work.
All right, young man over here. Sure. All right, if you think about it again, let me know. Yes, sir.
Should it be on, for you kids, should it be on grades? If you're getting A's in most of your classes or B's in most of your classes, should you be able to use your phone more?
Yes.
Because you're passing?
Yes.
Good point. Okay. Next question. How how can cell phones be useful in emergencies at school?
Like when there's an emergency or something, you could always like call someone or yeah, like you could call 911 and like or like call trusted adults. Just like really just like communication most of the time, or if not that, and it's like you need to like know how to do something, you always just like go on Google or like search up, like it's like yeah.
Okay, again?
Wait, what was the question again?
You think you should be able to use your cell phones for emergencies?
Oh, yeah, because like a lot around the world, it's like a lot of schools and there's a lot of bad things happening around the schools and you want to like have an emergency contact. Like if there's a lot of school shootings around the school, it happened at our school, we won't be able to leave the classrooms and like the phones won't be able to work or something. We should be able to use our phones to like call our parents and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Can I share on that? 'Cause
Yes.
I think that's a good point. To piggyback, I feel like my son, his bus was involved in like an accident, like an auto accident, and he was able to call me and let me know
Right.
before the school bus company let me know. They let us know. They sent a voicemail way after the fact, and I feel like that was important because I was like, well, where are you at? And I'm coming, and so I feel like, yeah, for emergencies, definitely.
Yes?
Can I say something to that? So it's good and bad in the same way with the kids being able to call their parents, but then it also in another way, when you're working professional, you can't get your job done if an irate mom or parent is coming ahead of time before the police or the ambulance because your child called. So it has its good and it has its bad because we can't help your child if you don't let us help your child, or we can't get to you to call you yet if you don't let us because your child already on the phone. Well, Mom, my teacher said I can't call you, but we flip stuff up down. We're trying to get there and trying to help too. Then sometimes people are like, oh, well, they don't know. We all have children too. So we want your child just as safe as we want our child to be. So at the same time, it's good and there's a good way and a bad way with these kids being able to call first of all, because I didn't like the way she said it. Let me call Mom, and we're in this predicament. We can't help them.
So, okay, yes.
I just had a question. What do you define as an emergency? Because we came across incidences where a parent will call the child in school. The parent said they have an emergency, they need to go to the doctor. The child is in 7th grade. What is he gonna do? He can't go and drive you. He can't do anything except worry and mess up the rest of his day. But parents will say that's an emergency, that their child needed to know that they had to go to the doctor. What's an emergency? What do you think is the emergency?
Yes.
Also, most of the time, some kids using like an excuse to say, "Oh, I need to call my parent. I need to talk to my parent." This is an excuse just to be on their phone. Yeah, happens a lot.
Okay. All right. So here's a scenario. It's not good or bad, just something for you to think about. So if you say you got 200 kids with cell phones, if something happened at school, and everybody called 911 at the same time, yeah, it could cause some confusion, tie up the lines, and if you don't know what to say or how to say it. So just a thought when we say that about emergencies. Again, sometimes emergencies, one person's emergency isn't necessary. Well, like I said, a parent might want to call, get in touch with the child and say, hey, it's an emergency. I need you to go by the store on your way home because I'm not going to do it. So you gotta kind of figure out what's really an emergency. Okay? Yes.
Mike, I'm just playing devil's advocate here a little, but when it's a real emergency, there's 200 kids and no one can call to get any help. You gotta think about that as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I was hoping they would figure that out.
Yeah, you could say something happened to 200. I'd rather 200 people be able to call. That's a good problem. 200 calling in for an emergency.
Right.
Opposed to 200 people that can't get help during an emergency or can't get through or can't call.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Feedback. Y'all really getting into this. All right. So, how would you feel if a parent couldn't reach you during the school day because of strict cell phone policy? This is for the kids. How would you feel if your parents couldn't get in touch with you? And it was something really important. Yes. We'll come back to you. Okay, or you can tell someone else. Right here.
I was pretty upset because like my parent needed to talk to me, right? And like the teachers or staff wouldn't allow me to do it just because like cell phone policies. It would be like pretty annoying because what if my parent needed to tell me something serious, right? But like teachers and staff wouldn't allow that just because like some policies with the cell phone. It's just like yeah, I know they need to like keep that up so we don't break rules and stuff, but sometimes there has to be like some exceptions. Like if your parent's calling you during school hours, it must be pretty important. Sometimes, so like.
Okay, we're gonna go here, Jim. So some guidelines. Good. Yes, sir.
Fortunately, I came up in an era where there was no cell phone. So an emergency really had to be classified as an emergency. Right? So what happens is, because we got cell phones, it becomes a need for no reason. So an emergency would be, I can't even talk on my phone. What if something happened? Why can't I use my phone? But I was blessed to come up in an era where there was no cell phone, and there was always emergencies, and there was things that go on. So if you're in school and your parents have a declared emergency, I don't think that calling your cell phone is the dopest answer, only because you're a child. I need to be responsible for what children need to be responsible for, not adults. And you calling me with your emergency doesn't help me. It doesn't help us. So usually what a parent will have to do is call the school.
Right.
And tell the school, can you please go and contact my child, so that it could be a real emergency and it can be filtered. So you got children in school, and because they don't got their cell phone, you can hear them. Everything's an emergency. What if my mother called? What if my son? What if my brother? What if this? They ain't got nothing to do with you. You're supposed to be in school learning. It's no emergencies. Only emergency is if you pee on yourself. That's it. Straight on.
So I appreciate you stepping up and, being old enough to go through that. But it is, you call, and again, I'm not saying it's not right or wrong, but again, it's an experience level for folks that grew up without cell phones. If you call the school would take appropriate action. They come get you, or they determine, do you wait till the end of the day or work it out like that. Because if you say I got a phone call from my parent and I gotta go, well, they gotta get in touch with your parent, and it's just, it slows the process down. If it, when it's a true emergency, you gotta go back and confirm and do all these other things. So what we've seen is you go through the school first, have a parent call the school and work things out. Because, yeah, even with that, you get that phone call in the classroom, it can be disruptive in the classroom also. Okay, just over here. You coming?
I just said, I want school, just call the school, we gonna get your child to you.
Right.
But if it's a real emergency, instead of calling them 513 and I gotta check on my, sorry, man. If I wanna check on my child, I call the school, this is Ms. Johnson, they know I'm calling.
Right.
I call all the time, I'm checking on mine. I'm calling high speed, this call doing, I'm checking, I'm gonna call and check. If there's some, we just got a notification, something happened, even though the bus didn't stop or something. I know she gonna call me, but I'm working sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, let me call the school and check on her, so.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I have a 10-year-old that's in school, and I think schools have a protocol, and I have a principal number, and her principal has my number, so if there's an emergency, the protocol is, the principal will call me, or I'll call them, and they deal with the student, and that cuts down on the chaos. As, I guess, organization, the way it's ran, you gotta allow those people to do their job.
Okay. Good. So, how about this? Should schools have a designated area where you can use your cell phone, like on the
Yes,
break?
like the cafeteria. Well, that was real long.
cafeteria.
That is a good idea though.
That's the most unsecurity advice you can get.
They gonna do it. They sit in the bathroom, stay away.
They all on their cell phone. Everything happens in the cafeteria.
Okay, there's an age gap here. There's different generations and different ways of doing things. That's why we're here to listen to you guys with input from the parents. Okay. So what role do cell phones play in preventing or reporting school violence or harassment? Yes.
Like, as a bully online, you could always, like, you know, look for evidence to show to, like, someone else to, like, prove, well, mostly, like, also you could, like, record videos of certain, like, you know, things, like, if you see someone's, well, no, because you shouldn't be recording, like, stuff like that, but,
The recording shouldn't happen.
but, like, cell phones could be, like, an evidence piece sometimes, it's, like, if it's, like, a complex situation, you know, cell phones could, like, have some sort of value as evidence.
Right. We here and then we're coming over here. Okay, we got you.
Like, when kids are recording live videos and taking pictures of kids, other kids when they're not supposed to, like recording a teacher or something like that.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Yes.
So like, if something, wait, repeat the question.
What role do cell phones play in preventing or reporting school violence or harassment?
Okay, so basically, if something like happens outside of school, say like you're arguing with someone, and like they say they're gonna fight you, so you already know this. So you go to school, like, you won't like reach out and like go tell someone, cause you already know. Like if there's no police, but like somebody can tell you that they're gonna fight you, and you'll be able to see them, that you can tell someone.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Have you seen where when somebody pulls a cell phone out, it makes the situation worse?
Yes.
I like what you said, some folks are instigating and they say throw gas on the fire. Okay. All right, good. So, what do you think is the fairest way for schools to enforce cell phones? What is the fairest way for schools to enforce cell phone rules?
Like, just say that we can have cell phones at any time we want, lunch, before the bell, then, and.
Says, so before the bell and lunch? Okay. Right here?
Let us like have access to them during ASP and at like the end of every class, like before the bell rings.
What is ASP?
Academics, every
Okay. So y'all have to change classrooms? Are you gonna be able to be on your phone and change classrooms in time? You're not walking in the hallway on your phone, are you? Okay, right here.
Yeah, because in ASP, the academic study hall, like, most of the time, kids don't even really have something worth doing there, so they either like read a book or put their head down. So I'll see why people would want to be on their phone in ASP. And like, it would like be, you know, I'd say it should kind of be allowed to a certain extent, because like, if you don't have anything to do for like a whole period, yeah, for like a whole period, it's like, you know, yeah, it's not good.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I just got, I know I thought that in school that you're supposed to, the school is supposed to teach me how to be an adult. Now, if I'm got all these negotiations about my cell phone in school, when it's time for me to go to work, like Miss Ashley's son, when I go to work, they tell me right off the bat, you can't touch your phone. Yo, don't use your phone while you're at work. This is not right. No. I mean, I got kids. What if an emergency occurred? I'm at work. They don't negotiate with me. I'm not understanding where's the negotiation with a child going to school and to make the cell phone a legal business. When I go to work as an adult and they tell me I can't use the cell phone, and I can't tell them, what if something happened, an emergency? I gotta call my kids on lunch break. They're like, well, you know, we pay you. We don't pay you to come here and make everything an emergency. So therefore, that cell phone, you can't use it for 8 whole hours. You know how my heart be pumping? I got a 4-year-old daughter, and she go to school, and all these little disrespectful, bad little kids. You know how serious I am about my daughter? And they told me I can't use my phone. So what? They're gonna negotiate with y'all, but I'm a grown man. I don't get no negotiation. I don't get that.
So right now, there is no negotiation. The rules are in place. They're not supposed to have their phones in school, in class. So, but I want to come back to that.
Oh, there's no negotiation in class for phones?
No, what they said they're not supposed to have them, they don't have them. So what we're talking about is ways that there could be a compromise.
In class, but they should be, I mean, why not have your phone, you just can't have it out, that just, you know, because on the job, they told me I couldn't have my phone, but of course I have my phone, that just was not to use it. And they say I couldn't, you know, have it, they say I can't use it, you know, say on their time. But in class, I can see not using your phone, but when you walk out respectably, if you use it respectably, why not have it? It's a tool to survive nowadays. You just gotta use it respectably, and when to pull it out and not to pull it out.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a thing where there's some schools that you cannot have it on you,
Right.
and there's some schools that say you can have it on you but not use it. So yeah, possibly some consistency.
It is a safe tool,
Right.
but people will listen, you know, use it. It is a safe tool. Some bad can happen, you have to film somebody to protect yourself.
Right.
So it's when can you use it or pull it out? Because, you know, they selling them, everybody got a phone these days.
Right. Yes, sir.
Just to piggyback off what Tony's saying, phones are ingrained in our lives so much, they do so much. To take it away is probably gonna cause more harm than it is good with the school district. In schools, because you're gonna watch, there's gonna be a whole bunch of kids that look like these kids that are gonna be disproportionately disciplined for it, suspended, or however the measures are gonna go.
Right.
Because there's gonna be parents that, some parents probably gonna say, I don't care what the school says, taking them from the school. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now we're gonna get into moral things and stuff like that, so it's just like he said, with everything, there's rules. There's rules you gotta follow, you know, have your phone off or on silent in your pocket, like I say, like it's a straight ban, I just see it's gonna cause harm. Now, it's gonna cause more conflict in resolution.
All right. You gentlemen brought up some more comments. Go ahead.
I know I'm not one to talk, but like, I feel like phones are like a lot more harm than good, because it's like, I know in today's generation and stuff, like, it's a lot of people depend on phones and stuff for like everyday things, tasks, but like sometimes like they make it almost like it's something like they need. So like when I see someone like without a phone, they be like geeking out and stuff. And it's like, dude, it's not like well, it's basically like a drug scene.
Right.
It's like when they don't have their phone, they're like crashing out. And like they're only like okay when they have their phone.
Right.
They throw a fuss when they can't use their phone. It's like, you know, it's more to life than just a screen. So that, like, you know, I never really like messed with the phone that much, but like, it's just like phones. I see like a lot of people, they be like so submerged in it, like they don't really be like experiencing that much other than just their phone. Like when they're doing an event or an activity like other people, they be like always on their phone or always have their phone in hand. It's like, you know, can't just like put it down for a couple hours.
So that was another point that was on the list. I'm coming back over here with a question. Is how many of you have gone 24 hours with your phone, without your phone? 24 hours without your phone. Any adults? 24 hours without your phone, without it being broke or lost. Okay, see my hand didn't go up. You're right. There's these different things, and again, I come back to they call it a smart device. It's a computer. We adults, some of us use the excuse that I gotta work, or I need people to get in touch with me, communicate, emails, text messages, and other information. But it still comes back to, like we said, we're talking about cell phones as a form of communication. You have to have that connection with people all the time. It's just a question. Yes?
Oh, okay. I feel like as a parent, I have 2 teenage boys. So it starts at home. That instruction starts at home. Don't cash at me, don't ask me for cash app, don't ask me for no gum, don't text me during the day. So even though they may have a smart watch, because they can still talk on their watch, they can still, but once again, it just starts at home, giving that instruction, giving the same instructions my parents gave me, you know, when we didn't have cell phones. So if it's an emergency, you contact me. And like you said, the free time, there's never no free time in school. You can always be working on something.
Right.
You know, it's homework, they're studying. So I feel like it's at home. You have to, you know, we get so soft around our children. You know what I mean? So for me, with me having raising men and, you know, 2 teenage boys, no, you don't need your phone. You good. You don't need your watch. You don't check it. You know, we all know how to check things nowadays.
Right, right.
But it really just starts at home, giving that instruction. Before this mandate, like I just texted my son and told him, hey, did you hear about the cell phone? And immediately he like, what, I can't bring it? Well, you know, hey, I mean, I want you to bring it around. But it just starts at home.
Right. Okay. And two, the thing I was thinking about here is the purpose. Do you understand the purpose for your cellular phone? And you hear the adults saying, you're in school to learn, not to communicate with folks. You're in school to learn. It's comment? Did you? Yes? I thought your hand was up. You stretching? No, all right. So, cell phone usage is kind of, we talk about talking and texting versus, you know, other things. But again, it's the word I thought she was gonna use is discipline. The young man right here was talking about, you know, related to a drug, it is an addiction. Your body will react and it craves this smart device. It's like, you feel like you're missing something. There's that attachment, for some, not everybody, for some. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like an addiction, but it's also, you know, you have very important things on, like your email, pictures, and it's really, important things on there. So some people act like they can't live without it, but that's the reason, because if they lose it, they feel they have to replace it where someone has it.
Right.
So it's like a toss-up, because you have important things on that device. You know, sometimes your whole livelihood is on there, you know what I'm saying? And things you don't want nobody to see, so I understand what her kid said, but you know, somebody have to explain to them, you gotta protect it,
Right.
you gotta protect it, you know what I'm saying? Because people can't live without that phone, so they act all like this and not, yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
No, once again, agreeing with Mr. Kelly, because when it, okay, just, let's rewind 20 years ago. When it was flip phone, we didn't have that, we got like an emotional attachment to the phone now, because it's, you got money on your phone now. You got, you know, your cars, everything. So we created a way of life in these devices. So to take them away, I mean, I mean, that's almost a caveman thought to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
We gotta see too many decision makers that are coming from conservative mindset. We didn't have them when we went to school, so they don't need them. The world is different. So we have to be progressive and stop being conservative and being overreactive.
Right.
You know what I mean? We gotta, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
Let's use them for let's see the great in them and get the best out of them. With these rules, regulations, and restrictions.
Gotcha. Over here.
Dovetail on what you said, Mr. Hamilton said, we do need to pay attention to the fact that it's just part of life. It's like telling your student, you can come to school, but don't bring your hands, or don't bring your eye, or something crazy like that. But you're coming to school to learn. My thing is, why do you need a phone? If the teacher's doing what they're supposed to do, do you need a phone? Do y'all need a phone? I just need to know. If the teacher's doing what they're supposed to be doing, is teaching you, do you need the phone?
Yes.
What do you need a phone for? I just need to know.
Yes. What do you need phones for when a teacher's teaching?
After they're done teaching, or if they give me assignments, I wanna be able to listen to do my work.
I didn't hear it. I can't hear it.
She says, so after the teacher's teaching, once you put in her homework assignment, you keep track of it? Is that what you said? Yeah.
Cause the teachers don't teach the whole class, they like say a few things and they'll just give you an assignment.
Yeah, we learn off YouTube, bro. No, he gives us assignments.
You know what? And that to me is that's real. That's legit. gotta learn for myself. That's a whole other conversation.
They literally teach for 20 minutes and then they literally be like, okay, everybody go on y'all computers and then y'all gotta learn y'all lessons some other way.
That's what we gotta do.
They're self-taught, they're self-teaching.
They don't have a phone, they got an
It's different though.
No, they're not, but some of them do, let me just speak, let me just real quick, and I'll be quiet, I'll let y'all finish, cause y'all got some good stuff coming up. I'm coming from two different angles. As a teacher, I was a former teacher, as a principal, I had to watch the teachers teach y'all. And now at the university, I teach teachers at the university how they supposed to be teaching y'all. So if something is broken, you need to speak up, but that doesn't mean you allow yourself to stay in the broken system or you allow yourself to make things worse. If you're not doing, if you need to supplement your teaching, you say, then you need to be saying something to your principal or your parent so that they can intervene. But most of the teachers are doing what they gotta do. And how many times have I come in and seen kids on their phone, oh, I need to know what time it is, or my mama just told me to pick up something, I'm just, really? The thing is, what do you need the phone for when the teacher is teaching? If some students need it for a translation, or if they need it to continue their work, that's a whole other conversation. But the teacher's teaching, and y'all got assignments that don't involve the phone. I know about the remind system, I know that the teachers send you your homework on your phone, you ain't gotta look at it right there. Homework is at home. So, figure that out. I need to know, I really wanna know, why you need your phone when the teacher's teaching?
Mr. Kelly,
Well, you know, since when they send them the messages to school, they're doing it on the computer, so they ain't writing notes and stuff like that, so it's a time to use the tool and a time to not use the tool. So if the teacher's giving them notes and then telling them to go ahead on, do they have the computers or they're using their phone? But why would you have, you using the computer they got out there or you using your phone? If you're using your phone, that's why they got your phone. It's time to use a tool and it's time not to use the tool. They have it out.
I like the way you put it, a tool. So, smart devices is a tool. Okay, any other comments? So I'm gonna wrap up, I got two more questions, and this ties into, what we feel is very important too, what Mr. Hamilton mentioned earlier, the discipline. The discipline. So do you think teachers should have, how can schools balance the need for discipline with the reality of cell phone use? Do you think you need to be, well, what do you think about the punishment for using cell phones in class?
I just get my taken.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I just get my phone taken if I have it out.
Okay.
It's called Tosh.
Tosh.
It's like you for your phone or something.
Have you ever seen, you don't have to tell on yourselves if it was you, but you ever seen anyone get disciplined for it other than taking the phone? Yeah, what'd you see?
So like, one time, one girl in my class, she like was on her phone. No, it was a guy that was in my class. He was on his phone and like the teacher was teaching, and like he was like blasting music, and like he kept going back and back on it, and like he kept like going on these songs that like all over the curse words. He was doing it on purpose to agitate the teacher, I guess. But like then he got his phone took and he had to go downstairs. Hush. Like, yeah, time out.
And school suspension.
Time out, study hall.
Yeah. Cause like, the reason that happened is like, you know, he was blasting music and disrupting the whole class. Just to like.
So the teacher would pick up the phone and throw it?
In that case, who's the problem? The phone or the student? The student is the problem, so if it wasn't the phone, he would be doing something else that causes distraction. That's just the easiest thing you could do to cause a distraction.
Okay.
Probably be stalking the students, you know what I mean?
Right.
We gotta look at these things, the phone is the
Listen,
problem. Somebody said this earlier, a lot of stuff starts at home. A lot of things you gotta, if you raise a responsible, a young responsible adult, they're gonna do things responsibly, right?
Right.
So we gotta look at that.
Okay. Then the last question, should schools provide alternatives like school-issued devices for students who need technology for learning?
Yes.
Okay, here's some yes. Well, how many say yes? Okay. provided devices for you, you wouldn't bring your cell phones? If the school provided you a device for your schoolwork, would you bring your cell phone?
Yes.
So we have one comment up front said because the private information that you need off your phone, you couldn't use it on the school device. Anyone else? Yes.
Like, I'm at school, like, at my school, I mean, it's a big school, but like, you have computers. So like, those computers, you gotta work off. So most of the time, I don't really see why kids would need to go on their phone, you know, to like do their work, unless it's like homework or our school, something like that. But like, you could literally do all your work off the computer. So it's like, you don't really need your phone, unless it's like some other circumstance where you got like, higher grade, or you need your phone for it. At least in my grade, you don't need your phone for your work. You got your computer for it.
Okay. And what grade are you in?
7.
Okay.
Also, back in last year, we had like iPad 2 draw. So it was like, yeah, and I because like we get like devices to do our work, so I don't see why people would like have their phone to like, you know, use work or an excuse to go on their phone to do their work. When it's like you literally get a device for that stuff.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Can I
Yes.
add something? Okay, this is gonna be not good, all right? There's times when I've seen teachers, the adults in the building, we were taught to stand when we speak, so I'm gonna do that. Adults, students are doing what they're supposed to do, but here's the adult. All day. One time there was a fight that broke out. Teacher was not aware of the stuff that was going on in the back of the class because teacher was do the same rules that we're gonna make for the students. Should teachers have the same?
Yes.
All right, show of hands. How many think the teachers should do the same rules? Okay, I'm sorry.
But they say, I'm an adult.
What are they saying? It's funny. Right. So I didn't have that question, but we were attending another teen hall like this. And same thing, child raised a hand and said like, hey, what about the teachers? Because it was, all right, and I'm just trying to be honest with you. I laughed when he first said, the teacher said, wait, while you're in the middle of the class, while I finish my text. I just, that made no sense to me. But yeah, they're on their phone while they're supposed to be teaching. Let me just answer this and I'll get back to you. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable for the teachers. So the same guidelines should be, well, I'm offering my opinion. Yes.
Oh, last year, back in my school, I had this one substitute teacher. She, like, every time she would, like, take over our class, she was always, just, like, on her phone, not caring about whatever happened in class. And, like, thanks to that, like, you would expect a lot of kids to like her because, oh, she doesn't care what to do. But a lot of kids didn't like that because most kids would be, like, yelling, screaming, like, cursing each other out. And, like, some kids couldn't do their work. And it's like, you know, the class was being so disruptive, and she didn't care because she was always on her phone. So it was like, you know, she's not doing anything about it, she's just letting it happen.
Right.
Carefree. And when she does try to do something, she doesn't put no like power into it. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay guys, you wanna stop this, please? It's like, you know, she doesn't try it all.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yes, that's what you said about the teachers. They need to hold them accountable because they might not be holding to, or even know the rules more better than what they're doing, because they're not doing their job. They let the kids do stuff like that, and that's why it's going wild and we lose it out for our kids. The teachers need to be held accountable. They get paid a real good salary. And we need to know what they're accountable for and what they're doing, because they get paid real good money and they're not doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Rules and regulations have to be applied for the kids and the teachers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that wraps up that part, my part. Is there any questions or concerns that any of y'all had that I didn't cover? Mr. Blake? Okay, with that, I want to bring up Mr. Flavor. No, give yourself a hand. I love the feedback.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your input because it's important. Here's what I know, going to a lot of schools, conventions and meetings of people on school boards and people like Dr. Tina Wall, professors and all that. And even if this ban is coming. We're seeing commercials right now talking about how cell phones are, what the governor is fighting for and whatnot. When you start seeing that, I'm gonna let everybody know, give them a dog. What they're looking for is to generate consent. That means we wanna do this. And this is an ad so that we want you guys to believe that it's a good idea. So that when we do this, you're on board. That's what's happening, so it's happening. Now, what concerns me is in my professional career, before I was a realtor, 716-501-5933 if you want to buy or sell a house. I was an implementation manager. What that means to you guys as kids is, here's what you teach and learn in implementation. If you ever have a teacher say, we can, alright, everybody calm down, I'll allow whispering. But then it gets really loud really fast, right? That's bad implementation. Good implementation is if you want to allow whispering, you say no talking at all. Because then people will whisper. And then when it gets too loud, you slam the desk. I said no talking. And then everybody goes back to whispering. You make room for issues that will arise. That's good implementation. So what we have to do as a community right now is start thinking ahead. When they enact this law, what are issues that are gonna happen? Trent brought it up, and it's a concern, honestly, of every parent, but especially black and brown parents. What are gonna be the imaginary disciplinary issues that all of a sudden kids are gonna get? You telling me this kid is gonna be suspended for 30 days over a cell phone? That's hard for a parent to hear. It's like, were they misbehaving? No. Were their grades wrong? No. But they had their cell phone out. I was like, oh, okay. I told them about the cell phone. But you want to suspend them 30 days for that? That affects everybody's life. So that's a concern. There's also safety concerns. As parents, we all know the major one that's going on here. I don't want to really bring it up with the kids, but when some of these things that are on the news happen, right? Everybody's driving to the school, and you're trying to call your kid, are you okay? So we have that. Then we have other concerns. My son, who's 5, is autistic. That means he's in special ed, he's still behind. But he loves his iPad. He does a lot of communication on his iPad. This rule, as it says now, says no electronics, unless it's issued by the state. It's a fight to get the state to issue it, so we give him an iPad, and the school he's at now is okay with it. Now that would be taken away. So, with every idea, there are good ideas, and there are bad ideas. And so what we need to hear from you guys, right, and you guys have provided good things, is what are we as the adults not thinking? Because the other thing too is, I went to high school in 1992. That's about 35 years ago or something like that. And that's the hardest part of being a kid. People who don't currently live your life with some of your challenges are making the rules for you. Now, a lot of what's happened in your lives, we've also dealt with. We've dealt with bullies. But most of the bullies, you could go home at the end of the day. Or if you was on the block, you were like, you know what, I'm not gonna hang on that side of the neighborhood, or I'm gonna stay in today. Or I can go away. But now in the era of cell phone, this bully's gonna be on your Facebook or whatever app you guys use, coming at you, right? So that's a challenge we never have to deal with, that we need your input and things like that. So, with that said, if we institute this ban, right? So they want it all day. So you come in, 8 and you leave at 3, no cell phone, right? What are we not thinking about that affects your daily life?
Like I feel like, like when it comes down to learning, I feel like cell phones could help out with like, you know, focusing, specifically like mainly music. So like, I feel like when they like take that away from you, it's just like, it's gonna make your like work, what's the freaking word? Like your work hour, I guess, like a lot, like not as efficient because like you're not working in like, you know, like the best and efficient way. It's like, you're just working like really, like some people might work really poorly without music. Some people might work tighter with like, you know, just working. Some people out there like, you know, like they need someone like help them focus.
Okay.
So like, I feel like if you like take that away from them, it's just gonna make like their work, I don't know the word.
No, what you're talking about is an accommodation, something that helps you work better. Her, him, then her.
I just want to say, like, I feel like having, like, cell phones in school ain't gonna help. Because, like, the main thing that people are saying is, like, it's because of cyberbullying. But all this stuff happens when you're at home. Ain't nobody cyberbullying you when you're in school. Because you're in school. I feel like it's not really a good reason to get involved. It's because of cyberbullying or cyberbullying is at home.
Okay. That's a good point. What do we got?
Phones aren't allowed in school at all. That emergency, like when you get out of school, like right out of school, you won't be able to call anyone or try to get help.
Well, okay.
I just think music is like, it helps with stress and like a lot of things that don't have to do with learning. So like if you take music away, it's like you're taking away peace and comfort and a lot of things.
Okay, the two music, you and you, is it during class or is it like study hall? Like just how?
Both in general.
So you listen to music in between classes, you know, it's your little pregame walking out the tunnel kind of
It
thing?
helps by throwing out other things that I should focus on and focus on the things that I should focus on.
Yeah, it's just like, it really helps you like focus and work a lot more. And like, also like music in general, it helps with a lot of things like working, cleaning, cooking, like just helps like, you know, that type of stuff.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you guys though is that putting it in a locker all day is unwelcome. That we can put it in, then the teacher or something, at the start of class, and you pick it up when you're leaving class, but you still have it for the in-between traveling or something, that works?
I mean, like, I don't think you'll work with music for like 3 minutes and passing time. So like,
So
Yeah,
that's,
because you got 5 minutes to get to our next class. You better stop at your locker.
okay, so as we go forward, right, I'll give my card here, yes, I have the Tina, but these are things that you need to bring up, not just to, sometimes to your parents, but to your community leader, because this school district and what happens cannot happen without you. The teachers only have a job because you're there for them to teach. They only get paid because your parents are paying their taxes and rent, so that they get paid. So you guys are all involved in this. Do not think for 1 second you do not have a say in what happens. You have a say. Talk to your parents, talk to your pastor, talk to your community leader, so that we can actually advise those in charge on what's best for you.
So, again, I want to thank you for attending and participating. Your input has been tremendous. Again, we want to thank Bishop and Reverend Scott and Minister Gandy for opening up the doors. And this is what it's about, community. Community, working together. All right, did you have any final words, Dr. King?
Just thank you all. These students are like, y'all are phenomenal. We need to take y'all with us from another job. And we're gonna take your ideas and the things that you said, we're gonna take notes, and we're gonna take it off the video. We're gonna take it to the Knoxville City School District, the board, if that's in control there, give them your ideas and the things that you're thinking, so so that they will have it when they make the rule, because like Mr. Glaber said, the ban or the mandate is already in place, it's going to happen, you gotta have it in place, but we wanna make sure they hear from you, all right?
Okay, we gotta wrap up. Now, if you wanna stay afterwards, there's some folks that do, need to be places. And so we'll be here for a few extra minutes, to have conversation. All right? Again, once again, thank you. You do have a freshman.